Hi, guys. This is Dr. Donnelly, and I'm here today to talk to you about how you're going to work on quizzes during night. So, these aren't going to be quizzes about memorizing particular facts that happen in the text, though you are going to have a pretty good idea of the major events that happen in each chapter, which you already should have because you've been writing summaries at the end of each chapter and because you've been having really great class discussions about night. So you should have a pretty good handle on what happens when. Though I would encourage you to review the text the night before just to make sure that you have a good sense of the order in which things happen. So what we are going to be doing on this quiz, and what your task is going to be on the quiz, is to read a passage from Night and then to write a short response in which you do two things. First of all, you're going to need to explain how this fits into the sequence of events in Night. So when in the book does it take place? You want to have some sense of what happens right before this or pretty closely before this, and some sense of what happens pretty shortly after this. Then you want to dig into the passage itself and really close read the passage and analyze how it connects to one or more of the central concepts in Night. So how does it contribute to broader themes and messages? And the last thing, which is true of all the responses that you do in this class, is you want to make sure that you use textual evidence and that it's fully introduced and analyzed. So not hanging out on quote island, not a big clump of quotes in the middle, but that you really tell us what's going on in the passage, introduce it, and then after you give a quote, you talk a little bit about what's going on in the quote and why that matters. And just to review, the skill that we're going to be practicing here is reading for information 3 in the Common Core Standard, which is to analyze how an author unfolds a series of ideas and to understand how they're interconnected. So we're kind of thinking about where a particular passage takes place and how that connects to other ideas within the text. So once you've actually done that, it's time to sit down and actually read the text. And as I read, I'm going to make a few comments so that you can see what kind of annotations that I would make if I were trying to figure out where this came from in the text. So first, just to quickly read through, someone had placed a damp rag on her forehead, but nevertheless she continued to scream, "Fire! I see a fire!" Okay, that immediately tells me this is the woman on the train who thinks she sees a fire. It's on their way to the concentration camp. Yeah, I'll make the size a little smaller on this so you can see the whole thing. Okay. Fire, I see fire. Her little boy was crying, clinging to her skirt, trying to hold her hand. "It's nothing, Mother. There's nothing there. Please sit down." He pained me even more than his mother's cries. This is interesting. I think there's a connection to Ellie there because we know he feels shame and sadness about his dad when he sees his dad kind of losing it. Some of the women tried to calm her. You'll find your husband and sons again in a few days." She continued to scream and sob fitfully. "Jews, listen to me. I see fire, huge flames." This word really sticks out to me because this makes it seem more like a warning to all Jews rather than just something she is hallucinating. And I think that connects to some of the bigger ideas about people kind of knowing something or recognizing something and nobody listening to them. She says, "Listen to me," right? This "listen to me," I think, is really important. I'm going to underline that. Um, it was as though she was possessed by some evil spirit. We tried to reason with her, more to calm ourselves, to catch our breaths than to soothe her. She's hallucinating because she's thirsty, poor woman. That's why she speaks of flame devouring her. So here they're trying to come up with like a scientific explanation. Putting that in quotes because it's kind of more science-y than actual real science. But in reality, they will see flames. And it's actually, I would say, pure evil. And I think they're starting to get that here because we have "it was all in vain, our terror could not be contained." So it seems like they have some hint that she's onto something, but they don't want to hear it. All right. So now that I've marked up my text, my task is to then go down and to start actually describing the passage. So I won't have time to do all of that, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to get started. And the things that I need to remember are that I need to explain how this fits into the sequence of events in Night, and I need to analyze how it connects to one or more central concepts in Night. So I think I know how this fits into the sequence of events. We know that this is the woman on the train who is imagining that she sees fire, but this is before they actually get to the concentration camp and they really do see the flames of the crematorium. So she's at this point maybe hallucinating or maybe having some sort of a premonition or a vision of what's going to happen. So I'm going to explain that before I get digging into this actual thing. Now, where that happens in the text and what's going on actually does already connect to one or more essential concepts in Night, right? This is another example of someone having a vision, right? Having some sort of knowledge. Here it seems to come not from experience, but come something kind of internal, where people don't listen to her, not really because they don't believe her, but because they don't want to believe her. So I'm going to try to draw that out in my response. I only have a minute or two left of this video, so I'm just going to get started so you can see what I mean. So in this passage, Rizel is describing a woman on the train that he and his family took to the concentration camp. This woman imagines that she sees a fire, and everyone on the train tries to shut her up. Immediately after this passage, some men even beat her, shut her up. However, when they get to the camps, they do see actual flames, which are from the crematoria. All right. So I don't have any quotes in that first section because I was really just focusing on saying where it came from. I think my quotes are going to come in the next section when I'm connecting it to one of the more central concepts in Night. So I'm going to say this connects to the idea that people like Moisha and this woman have a vision of what is going to happen, but that, got my comma, but that people don't want to hear their message. This woman starts by